What if the supercars, mega yachts, and giant mansions you see on social media aren't what real wealth looks like? What if it's all a stage show designed to distract you from what's really happening behind the curtain? For most of history, the richest families in the world were almost completely invisible. The Rothschilds, the Medici family, the old banking dynasties of Europe, they didn't advertise their wealth, they hid it. Not in yachts or supercars, but in structures, in contracts, in trusts, and in quiet ownership. Even today, the loudest displays of wealth are usually not made by the wealthiest people, because real wealth doesn't need to be seen. It needs to be protected. Most people think building wealth is about earning more and saving more, but the truly rich are playing a different game. They aren't just earning, they're structuring and protecting their assets in ways the average person doesn't even know are possible. This focus on flashy, visible wealth can keep you in the slow lane. Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain to expose 12 secret assets that millionaires use to quietly build and protect their fortunes, and you'll want to stick around for number 5. A controversial but legal strategy the ultra-wealthy use to live a multi-million-dollar lifestyle without paying capital gains tax. Section 1. The invisible structures. The first few assets aren't things you can hold. They are invisible legal structures that create the foundation of serious wealth. Asset number 1. The Ghost LLC. For the wealthy, an LLC's secret purpose is to make them financial ghosts. Here's a simple example. Imagine a billionaire who owns 100 apartment buildings across 10 different cities. If every property is in his personal name, anyone can look him up. Journalists, competitors, potential plaintiffs. But instead, each building is owned by a separate LLC. Each LLC has a registered manager. Each manager is another company. On paper, no single person owns anything. In reality, one person controls everything. This isn't about secrecy for crime. It's about privacy and risk management at scale. When you buy property in your own name, it's public record. But when you buy it through an LLC, the owner of record is the company. This is how the wealthy own huge real estate portfolios without anyone knowing. It's not just about liability protection. It's about strategic invisibility. The real owner is hidden behind layers of corporate paperwork. Asset number 2. The domestic fortress, the DAPT. Imagine a legal fortress you can build around your assets right here in the United States. This is a domestic asset protection trust, or DAPT. These special, irrevocable trusts are available in 17 U.S. states and offer an incredible shield against creditors. You transfer assets into the trust and you can still be a beneficiary. But because you don't technically own the assets anymore, the trust does. They are shielded from future lawsuits or creditors. Asset number 3, high-value networks. This next asset isn't something your lawyer can draft, but it's one of the most powerful. For the rich, their network is their net worth. Here's how this works in practice. A hedge fund manager hears about a private company 6 months before it ever considers going public. A real estate developer is invited to buy a building before it's ever listed. A startup founder gets funding not because of a pitch deck, but because of one dinner conversation. These deals never appear on Google. They never appear on public exchanges. They only exist inside trusted circles. And once you're inside those circles, your access to wealth changes permanently. These networks provide access to opportunities the public never hears about. Off-market real estate deals, pre-IPO investment rounds, private business ventures. When you have a network of successful people, you get a constant flow of priceless insights and deal flow. This isn't just socializing. It's a strategic asset that opens doors locked to everyone else. Section 2. The Offshore Playbook. Now we're going international, where the rules of wealth protection change completely. It's important to say this clearly. Offshore structures are not illegal. They become illegal only when people hide income, evade taxes, or lie to regulators. What the wealthy are doing here is something very different. They are choosing jurisdictions with stronger asset protection laws, more favorable trust statutes, and legal systems that make frivolous lawsuits almost impossible. This is about jurisdiction shopping, not tax evasion, and that distinction is everything. Asset number 4, the offshore vault, the OAPT. If a DAPT is a fortress, an offshore asset protection trust is a vault in another jurisdiction. This is the big leagues of asset protection. By setting up a trust in a foreign jurisdiction, like the Cook Islands or Nevis, the wealthy move their assets completely outside the reach of U.S. courts. A U.S. court can order you to pay, but foreign courts in these places often won't recognize or enforce that judgment. It's the financial equivalent of moving your valuables to a secret, untouchable location. Asset number 5, borrowing against your fortune, the billionaire tax loophole. This strategy is known as buy, borrow, die, and it's how the super rich fund their lifestyles while paying practically nothing in capital gains taxes. When the average person needs cash, they sell an asset and pay capital gains tax. The wealthy almost never sell. Instead, they borrow against their assets. They take out low-interest loans from a private bank using their stock portfolio as collateral. That loan is tax-free cash. All the while, their original assets are still growing. Then the die part kicks in. When they pass away, their heirs inherit the assets at a stepped-up basis. That resets the asset's cost to its value at the time of death, wiping out the capital gains tax completely. Asset number 6, intellectual property. What if you could create an asset out of thin air? That's intellectual property. Patents, trademarks, copyrights. The wealthy see them as cash flow machines. A musician who owns a song copyright gets royalties every time it's played. An inventor with a patent can license their technology for a fee. Wealthy entrepreneurs build portfolios of valuable IP, hold them in protective structures, and create sources of generational wealth. It's like owning a digital oil well that never runs dry. Okay, we're halfway through. Knowing these things exist is the first step. Most people never learn this. Not in school, not in university, not even in business programs. Wealth strategy is taught almost exclusively inside wealthy families. That's what this channel is about, taking systems that were once private and making them understandable to everyone. But building a system to acquire and protect them is a different ballgame. Section 3, Advanced and Alternative Assets. Let's get back to the list and look at some of the more advanced assets the wealthy use. Asset number 7, the family bank, the FLP. Imagine your family operating like its own private bank. This is the power of a family limited partnership, or FLP. The older generation transfers assets like real estate or stocks into a partnership, becoming general partners who keep control. They then give ownership shares to their children as limited partners. This passes wealth to the next generation tax efficiently and protects the assets, since the limited partners don't have management control, shielding the wealth from their personal creditors or a divorce. Asset number 8, passion, assets, and collectibles. While we check the stock market, the ultra-wealthy diversify into fine art, rare watches, classic cars, and vintage wine. This isn't just a hobby, it's a strategic investment. There's another reason the wealthy love these assets. They are portable wealth. A single watch can store millions of dollars on your wrist. A single painting can move across borders without triggering the same scrutiny as financial transfers. For centuries, art and collectibles have been used as silent wealth storage during wars, currency collapses, and political crises. These tangible assets have a low correlation with traditional markets, often holding or increasing their value when stocks are tanking. A 1955 Mercedes-Benz 300 SLR sold for about $142 million. These passion assets provide enjoyment, hedge against inflation, and act as a discreet way to store huge amounts of wealth. Asset number 9, the multi-layered corporate sandwich. The truly sophisticated don't just use one protection tool, they layer them together. For example, an investment portfolio is placed into a limited partnership. That partnership's ownership is then transferred to an international asset protection trust in the Cook Islands. The trust itself might then conduct business through a Nevis LLC. A creditor would have to fight through the laws of multiple jurisdictions, making the process so complex and expensive that most give up before they start. Asset number 10, the Spousal Safe Harbor, the SLAT. This is one of the most timely secrets of the wealthy. It's called a Spousal Lifetime Access Trust, or SLAT. For years, people feared the high estate tax exemption, the amount you can pass on tax-free, would get cut in half in 2026. However, a new law has made the high exemption permanent, increasing it to $15 million per person in 2026. So the wealthy are using SLATs to take advantage of this now. One spouse makes a huge gift, say the full $15 million, into an irrevocable trust for the other spouse. This gets the money and all its future growth out of their combined estate forever. But because their spouse is the beneficiary, the family indirectly keeps access to the funds while shielding them from future estate taxes. Asset number 11, the digital fortress. As wealth becomes more digital, so do protection strategies. The secret isn't in how the wealthy buy crypto, it's in how they hold it. They are transferring their digital assets into the same offshore trusts and international LLCs we've discussed. By applying centuries-old asset protection principles to 21st century technology, they put a legal wall around their digital wealth, shielding it from domestic court orders and creating privacy. Asset number 12, the ultimate umbrella policy. Our final asset is the first line of defense for every millionaire, a massive umbrella liability policy. I'm not talking about a $1 million policy. but policies for $10 million, $50 million, or even $100 million. If a lawsuit happens, the insurance company is on the hook to pay for lawyers and any judgment up to that massive limit. This stops personal assets from ever being threatened and scares off lawsuits because creditors know they aren't fighting an individual. They're fighting a giant insurance corporation. So that's the list. 12 secret assets the wealthy use to play a different game. If there's one pattern across all these strategies, it's this. The wealthy separate three things: income, ownership, and control. Most people combine all three. The rich almost never do. The biggest secret isn't any single asset, it's the mindset. True wealth isn't just about accumulation, it's about structure. It's about building a financial fortress with legal tools most people don't know exist. The flashy cars are a distraction. The real fortune is held in invisible trusts in LLCs. Now that you know what's behind the curtain, you can start to think differently about what it means to be truly wealthy. Thanks for watching. If this video opened your eyes, hit that like button and be sure to check out our other videos. See you in the next one.